As empath, highly sensitive soul, you probably have already heard about the importance of grounding yourself in order to stay centered and in alignment and feeling like yourself, right? But how do you know when you're actually ungrounded? Or how do you know that the grounding practices that you're already doing are actually working? And in this video today, I want to share with you 9 signs that you're actually ungrounded and how this can actually negatively affect you in your life and on a daily basis. Because grounding is truly a very, very important and necessary tool or thing that we need to do. Us empath and highly sensitive souls, we are picking up so much from everywhere, right? From the cosmos, from the collective, from other people. And it is so easy to become ungrounded. But you need to know what are those signs of being ungrounded so you know that you are ungrounded. You may already are practicing some grounding practice on a daily basis. I mean, I do highly recommend having daily practices in place for daily grounding because it will really help you stay in alignment and centered and really feeling like yourself. But let me share with you those 9 signs so you can know if what you're doing already, is it actually working or not? Or if you're not doing anything, it will give you some good insights into if you are grounded or not. So the first sign is that you feel very tired and exhausted. Even if you're sleeping a lot, you still wake up super exhausted. Maybe you're waking up in the morning, you're okay, but then midday or afternoon or even in the evening, you feel like you worked 16-hour days or something like that. And even if you are sleeping more, you're still feeling very tired. That is a good sign. If you often feel tired, that's really a good sign that you are ungrounded because you're just so exhausted with everything, with all that stuck energy. So when we're talking about the reason behind grounding is because as empath and highly sensitive, so we're picking up all these energies from everywhere. As empath, one of our purposes as empath is to filter negative energy. Well, we're meant to filter them through us, not keep them stuck and keep them for ourselves. So if you're feeling very tired, that could mean that you just still have so much negative energy or just energy that you're trying to filter through that is still stuck within you, especially if you are around certain people in certain circumstances and situations. Let's say you go to the store and you come home, you're feeling absolutely tired. Well, that is a good sign that, you need to do some grounding exercise, some grounding to release that negative energy that you picked up from going to the store or going to work or just being around certain people. Or if there's really a lot of energies happening, a lot of, shifts happening, a lot of downloads and everything on a cosmic level, well, that too needs some grounding as well. So if you notice that you're always tired, no matter if you're drinking a whole lot of coffee or energy drinks or sleeping more, but if you're just constantly tired, that is a good sign that you're ungrounded. Then the second sign is that you're extremely emotional. I mean, anything can set you off. I mean, just looking at the fly at the wall can set you off. It's like, it can be that intense. So if you're extra emotional for no apparent reason, that could mean that you have picked up so much emotional stuff from other people, from the collective, that is causing you to, it's like that internal emotional roller coaster where one moment you're like, yay, the next moment you just want to cry and crawl in bed. That too is a great sign that you're ungrounded because you haven't let go of all that excess emotional energy that you have picked up on. So you kind of look over your life right now and assess, do you often get extra emotional about certain things? Or anything can really set you off. When you're talking to someone, they just say something and you're just trying to blow up or things like that. Or if you're driving and someone cuts you off, do you then blow up too? That too is a good sign that you're very ungrounded because usually when we're ungrounded, we're also, ego is in the driver's seat, right? Because we're not ourselves. So this too is a good sign. If you're very emotional, you're being set off very easily, get angry very easily, that's also a great sign that you're ungrounded. Then the third sign is a feeling of overwhelm and just extremely exhausted. Like you're running on empty, basically. Like everything is just too much for you, that even though, yes, you're pushing through, you're doing it, but it feels like such a struggle just to finish a certain task. Or it feels like your plate is just so full that you don't even know where to begin, what to do, what to think, what to say. You're just so overwhelmed. That too is a good sign that you're ungrounded, because when you're grounded, you're really standing in your power. You are centered, you're in alignment, you're going with the flow. But if you're ungrounded, then everything that you're doing, it's like, this is just too much. And then when you're being given another task, like, oh my God, I already have so much other stuff to do. I don't know how I'm going to make that. So if you feel that you're very exhausted and overwhelmed with your life, with the situations, with your work, then this is also a good call for you to, or a good sign for you to maybe dive a little deeper into your grounding practices. And if you don't do any grounding practices, definitely start. And I want to mention a video to you. It's about 7 grounding practices to help you really ground, because it is so important for us empath and highly sensitive souls and intuitives as well to have these grounding practices, but especially when you are around a lot of people. We are so sensitive. We need that. So check out the video. It's in the description below. It's about 7 grounding practices, and I highly, highly, highly recommend start a daily grounding practice. And even if you're already doing grounding on a daily basis and you're noticing that anything that I'm sharing with you in this video is like, hey, I have that. This is me. That's what I'm feeling. Then that's a good indicator that maybe you need a little bit more grounding. Do a little bit extra. Maybe do multiple times a day. Anytime you are around certain people, or you're even, let's say you're at work or you're going to a store or whatnot, do some extra grounding. It's not just enough then to do it just once, but maybe do it twice a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day, or as many times as you feel you need to really feel grounded. But if you're feeling very exhausted and overwhelmed, like I said, that's also a great sign that you're ungrounded. Then the 4th sign is that not being grounded also then cause you to just don't feel like yourself. Like you're kind of like walking beside you. I mean, have you ever had that where you're feeling like there are 2 parts of you and it's like not quite in alignment? It's like totally off. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, when you feel like you're not yourself, when you're talking to people and you're looking around in life, you're going about your life and you're like, I mean, who am I? I mean, this is not me. I'm reacting a certain way, but this is not me. Like, even if you are reacting to certain situations in a way that you usually, if you're grounded, wouldn't react, that too is a good sign that you are not yourself. You are not grounded. It's like you're feeling like you're totally not in your body. You're kind of like somewhere up here, swimming around up there or floating around up there, but you're not really deeply connected with your body. If you're feeling that, if that's like an experience that you're having, also great sign that you're very much ungrounded. Then the 5th sign here is that you're having difficulty sleeping. Like, even if you're sleeping a lot, but your sleep is very disturbed, whether it is you wake up very exhausted or you're just restless at night, you're tossing and turning, maybe you're having a hard time falling asleep, or then you keep waking up. Or another sign is that you're having like the weirdest dreams, like out of body kind of experiences, but not the good kind, but where you're having these really intense dreams where you feel like you're in a completely different dimension, different lifetime or something like that. And you feel like you're really there, but these dreams are very intense. Now, this can also mean that you're actually healing in your dream state, but usually when you're being ungrounded, your sleep is very restless, where you really wake up in the morning and you feel like you slept maybe 2 hours, even though maybe you slept 8 hours or 10 hours or whatnot. But that also is a great sign that you're ungrounded, because when you're sleeping, then you're trying to take care of all these things in the spiritual realm, in that other dimension that you haven't really worked through while you're awake, or you're just working through all these different energies that you have picked up during the day, and maybe you even have dreams that make no sense whatsoever. You're having the weirdest dreams where you wake up and like, what the heck was I dreaming last night? Things like that. Which then also brings me to the sixth sign is that you may then also have difficulty sleeping. Because of course, I mean, if you're not really sleeping at night, right? If you're always exhausted and tired, well, I mean, your mind can't really focus. Whether it's that you're just so exhausted that you're having difficulty concentrating, or there's just so much in your head that you have, or so much on your mind that you simply can't focus. Have you ever had that where you felt like someone is just screaming in your head, like you just really just want some quiet, some peace and quiet, even though no one is screaming, no one is talking loud, but it feels like it's just your head is so full that you just want kind of time out, right, time out. That too is a great sign that you are ungrounded, because you too, that also you're picking up so much on the mental level. Us empath and highly sensitives and intuitives, we are very sensitive to just about everything. Emotional energies, physical, spiritual, and just the energies of the collective. Okay, so we are picking up a lot, and it can then affect you on so many different levels. So if you feel like that your head is just so full and you're having a hard time concentrating, like you're trying to read something and you're reading it like 3, 4, 5 times and you have no idea what you just read, or even when you're trying to speak, and I actually had that happening to me before, where I was trying to record a video, and after a few minutes of talking, I'm like, what did I just say? It made no sense. So I actually stopped recording, because I couldn't release that, right? But things like that, these are really great signs that you're ungrounded. When you have a difficult time to concentrate because your mind is just so full. You just have that hard time calming down or quieting down. Even let's say you're trying to meditate and you're really having a hard time to quiet down your mind. Here, you may want to do some grounding before you to then move forward with your meditation, because if you're trying to meditate and your mind is like all over the place, well, then your meditation practice is not going to really give you the results that you could have if you were grounded. So here, a good tip is, before you start meditating, maybe do some grounding exercise first. Like I said, check out that video with the 7 grounding practices that can help you really get grounded, or do what you feel called to do, or just do then a little bit more of what you're already doing to really ground yourself before you start meditating. That can also help you really quiet down your mind better. Then the 7th sign is that you're feeling quite anxious, on edge all the time around people in your life, and maybe you're very frustrated as well. So feeling very anxious also, it's because you have picked up so much energy that you don't know what to do with it, and that can cause you to feel on edge, very anxious, and those type of things. So if you're feeling that, also great sign that you're ungrounded. And then the 8th sign here is that you often crave unhealthy food, that junk food, fast food, sweets, all the stuff that is actually not really good for you. And the reason for that is because all that food, it's heavy, right? Let's just think about a burger here, right? Or some greasy fries or some fried chicken. This stuff is very heavy. So when you eat it, maybe you even feel like you have a rock in your stomach after you're done eating it. And the reason why you're craving that is because it is grounding. It is grounding you on a physical level. Not so much on an emotional, spiritual, and psychic level, but on a physical level, it is literally grounding you because it makes you feel heavy. You're just eating a burger like, ugh, I think I ate too much. That kind of feeling. And it's making you feel so heavy, so drained. So like, and that's why you're craving this, because you're ungrounded. And that's why you may often crave those unhealthy foods, because it's like your body knows you're ungrounded. So it's seeking that. It's seeking that unhealthy food to ground yourself into the here and now. And the more you actually work with the spiritual work, the more you do any kind of spiritual work, whether it's more meditation or, working with clients, things like that, maybe getting your own healing sessions or anything like that. Or even maybe you have noticed that if you have listened to any of my light language activations afterwards, maybe you were craving something that was unhealthy. And that is because the more you work with the spiritual realm, you're kind of lifting up, you're raising your vibration, you're lifting up. Well, eventually you kind of need to ground yourself back into the here and now, right? And that's why the more you work with the spiritual world, it could mean that if you don't have really good grounding practice in place, that you start craving all that unhealthy food. If you're noticing that you're often craving unhealthy food, even salty foods as well, that is a great sign that you need to do some more grounding. Especially if you're working with clients, if you're working with other people, if you're in the healing or the spiritual kind of business or anything like that. If you are working with other people and you're noticing that you're feeling drained and exhausted afterwards, or you're craving those unhealthy foods, just know that this is a good sign that you need to do some extra grounding. And then the ninth and final sign is that you may also experience more physical problems, whether it's more pain, discomfort, stomach problems, more headaches, eyesight problems, anything like that. Any physical pain or discomfort is also a good sign, because as you're picking up all these energies, well, energy kind of needs to go somewhere. And if it doesn't go anywhere, well, guess what happens? Then it turns into physical pain. So just notice, are you in more discomfort? Do you have more physical discomfort? Do you have a little more pain here and there? That too is a great sign that you need to do some more grounding. And here are the 9 signs, but I want to touch on how this can actually negatively affect you moving forward if you don't start a daily grounding practice and really increase your grounding practices as well. If any of those signs that I mentioned to you just now, if any of those resonate to you, if you experience any of those, that means you need to do more grounding, because it can affect you in all areas of your life. I mean, think about it. If you don't sleep good, if you can't concentrate, I mean, if you're always on edge, I mean, that can cause so many problems with your loved ones as well, in your workplace, with, clients, if you're working with clients. It can cause so many problems on all levels. And then if we're talking about physical discomfort, well, if you're always in pain and you're not feeling good, well, how can you then give to other people if you yourself are depleted and not feeling good, right? So that's why having a grounding practice is so very important. So you can feel yourself, so you can feel grounded and centered in alignment. Or otherwise your health can decline. Your life can kind of like sort of fall apart, because there's just so much interference, because you are not meant to keep all that energy that you're picking up. Okay. As empath and highly sensitive and intuitives, well, we pick up so much and it's not ours to keep. We're meant to filter through us. If we're picking up stuff, it's meant for us to come through us, and it's being filtered through us and then handed over to Mother Earth or transmuted into love and light. We're not meant to keep that. We are not meant to hold on to that. So do yourself a favor. If any of those signs I just mentioned to you, and do me a favor, leave me a comment below. Did any of those signs that I mentioned to you resonate with you? Do you experience any of those, or maybe even all of those, right? If you do experience all of them, then definitely start a grounding practice. Check out that video about the 7 grounding practices. The link is in the description below, so you can start that daily grounding practice. But here you go. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button. Maybe leave me a comment below. Do you have certain grounding practices that are actually working for you? I would love to know. But thank you so much for being here. Super excited, super grateful that you're here. Be sure to check out this video here about the 7 grounding practices. I'll look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Until then, make it an amazingly abundant, successful day. Namaste.